Fairfax just called to see Mr. Worthing. On very important business, Miss Fairfax states.
Isn't Mr. Worthing in his library?
Mr. Worthing went over in the direction of the rectory some time ago.
Tell Miss Fairfax to come here, and late here as usual.
Yes, miss.
Miss Fairfax, one of the many elderly women associated with Uncle Jack's philanthropic work in London, I suppose.
Miss Fairfax.
Let me introduce myself to you. My name is Cecily Cardew.
Cecily Cardew. What a very sweet name. I like you already more than I can say. Something tells me that we are going to be great friends.
Pray, sit.
I may call you Cecily, may I not?
Of course.
And you will always call me Gwendolen, won't you?
If you wish.
Then, that is all quite settled, is it not?
I hope so.
Perhaps this might be a favourable opportunity for my mentioning who I am. My father is Lord Bracknell. You have never heard of Papa, I suppose?
I don't think so.
Outside the family circle, Papa, I am glad to say, is entirely unknown. I think that is quite as it should be. The home seems to me to be the proper state of a man. And certainly, once a man begins to neglect his domestic duties, he becomes painfully effeminate, does he not? And I don't like that. It makes men so very attractive. Cecily, Mamma, whose views on education are remarkably strict, has brought me up to be extremely short-sighted. It is part of her system. So would you mind my looking at you through my glasses?
Of course, I'm quite fond of being looked at.
You are here on a short visit, I suppose.
Oh no, I live here.
Well, your mother or some other female relative of advanced years was out here also.
No, I have no mother, nor in fact any relatives.
Indeed.
My guardian, with the help of Miss Prism, have the arduous task of looking after me.
Guardian?
I am Mr. Worthing's ward.
Oh. It is strange that he never mentioned to me that he had a ward. How secretive of him. He grows more interesting hourly. I'm not sure, however, that the news inspires me with feelings of unmixed delight. I am very fond of you, Cecily. I have liked you ever since I met you. But I'm bound to say that now I know that you're Mr. Worthing's ward, I cannot help expressing a wish that you were... well, just a little older than you seem to be. And not quite so very alluring in appearance. In fact, if I may speak quite candidly...
Of course, I believe when anyone has anything unpleasant to say, one should always be quite candid.
Well, to speak with perfect candour, Cecily, I wish that you were fully 42 and more than usually play for your age. Ernest has a strong, upright nature. He's the very soul of truth and honour. Disloyalty would be as impossible to him as deception. But even men of the noblest possible moral character are extremely susceptible to the physical charms of others.
I beg your pardon, did you say Ernest?
Yes.
But it is not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is my guardian. It is his brother, his elder brother.
Brother? Ernest never mentioned to me that he had a brother.
I'm afraid they have not been on good terms for a long time.
Ah, that accounts for it. Come to think of it, I've never heard anyone mention his brother. The subject seems distasteful to most men. Cecily, you have lifted a load from my mind. I was growing almost anxious. It would have been quite terrible if any cloud would have come across a friendship like ours, would it not? Of course, you are quite sure that it is not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is your guardian.
Quite sure. In fact, I'm going to be his.
I beg your pardon.
Mr. Ernest Worthing and I are engaged to be married. Our little county newspaper is sure to chronicle the fact.
My darling Cecily, there must be some slight error. Mr. travel without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read on the train. I am so sorry if it is of any disappointment to you, dear Cecily, but I am afraid that I have the prior claim.
It would hurt me more than I can say, dearest Gwendolen, if it caused you any mental or physical anguish. But it seems to me that since Ernest proposed to you, he has clearly changed his mind.
If the poor boy has been entrapped into any foolish promise, I consider it my moral duty to rescue him at once, and with a firm hand.
Any entanglement my dear boy gets himself into after we are married, I will be sure not to reproach him with it.
Do you allude to me, Miss Cardew, as an entanglement? You are presumptuous. On an occasion such as this, it becomes more than a moral duty to speak one's mind. It becomes a pleasure.
Are you saying that I entrapped Ernest into an engagement? How dare you? This time is no time for wearing the shallow mask of manners. When I see a spade, I shall call it a spade.
I am glad to say that I have never seen a spade. It is obvious that our social affairs have been widely different.
Shall I lay the tea here as usual, miss?
Yes, as usual.
Are there many interesting walks in the vicinity, Miss Cardew?
Oh, a fair few. From the top of one of the hills, you can see 5 counties.
5 counties? I don't think I should like that. I hate crowds.
I suppose that is why you live in the town.
Quite a well-kept garden this is, Miss Cardew.
So glad you like it, Miss Fairfax.
I had no idea there were any flowers in the country.
Oh yes, flowers are as common here as people are in London. Tea?
Thank you. Detestable girl, but I require tea.
Sugar?
No, thank you. Sugar is not fashionable anymore.
Cake or bread and butter?
Cake. Bread and butter is rarely seen at the best houses nowadays.
Would you require anything else, Miss Cecily?
No, thank you. You can leave now, Merriman.
You have filled my tea with lots of sugar, and then when most distinctly asked for cake, you did not give me bread and butter. I am known for the gentleness of my disposition, and the extraordinary sweetness of my nature. But I warn you, Miss Cardew, you may go too far.
To save my poor, innocent, trusting boy from the machinations of any other girl, there were no lengths to which I would not go.
From the moment I saw you, I distrusted you. I thought that you were false and deceitful. I am never deceived in such matters. My first impressions of people are invariably right.
It seems to me, Miss Fairfax, that I'm trespassing on your valuable time. I'm sure you have many other calls of a similar nature to make in the neighbourhood.
Ernest! My own Ernest!
Gwendolen, darling!
A moment. May I ask if you are engaged to be married to this young lady?
To dear little Cecily? Of course not. What could have put such an idea into your pretty little head?
Thank you. You may.
I knew there must have been some misunderstanding. The gentleman whose arm is presently around your waist is my guardian, Mr. John Worthing.
I beg your pardon.
This is Uncle Jack.
Jack? Oh.
This is Ernest.
My own love.
A moment. Are you engaged to be married to this young lady?
To which young lady? Oh, good heavens, this is Gwendolen.
Yes, Gwendolen.
No, of course not. Or put such an idea in your pretty little head.
Thank you. You may.
I feared there must be some slight error. The gentleman who is currently embracing you is my cousin, Mr. Algernon Moncrieff.
Algernon? Gross deception has been practised on both of us.
My poor wounded Cecily.
My sweet wronged Gwendolen.
You will come resist a won't you?
Certainly. There is one question I would like to be able to ask Mr. Moncrieff.
An excellent idea. Mr. Worthing, there is just one question I'd like to be permitted to put to you. Where is your brother Ernest? We are both engaged to be married to your brother Ernest, so it is a matter of some importance to us to know where your brother Ernest is at present.
Gwendolen, Cecily, it's very painful for me to be forced to speak the truth. It's the first time in my life that I've ever been reduced to such a painful position. And I must say, I'm really quite inexperienced in doing anything of the kind. However, I will tell you quite frankly that I have no brother Ernest. I never have had a brother, and I haven't the smallest intention of ever having one in the future.
No brother at all?
None.
Not even of any kind?
No, not even of any kind.
It seems to me, Miss Cardew, that neither of us is engaged to be married to anyone.
It is not a pleasant position for a young girl to find herself in, is it?
Let us go into the house. They will hardly venture to come after us there.
Men are so cowardly.
This ghastly state of things is what you call bumbling, I suppose.
Yes, and a perfectly wonderful bunbury it is. The most wonderful bunbury I've ever done in my life.
Well, you've no right whatsoever to bunbury here.
It's absurd. One has the right to bunbury wherever one chooses. Every serious bunburyist knows that.
Serious bunburyist? Good heavens. As for your conduct towards Miss Cardew, I must say that you're taking in a sweet, simple, innocent girl like that is quite inexcusable. To say nothing of the fact that she is my ward.
Well, I can see no possible defence. You receive a pretty, clever, thoroughly experienced English and Fairfax. To say nothing of the fact that she is my cousin.
I wanted to be engaged to Gwendolen. That is all. I love her.
Well, I simply want to be engaged to Cecily. I adore her.
There is certainly no chance of your marrying Miss Cardew.
Well, I don't think there's very much likelihood, Jack, of you and Miss Fairfax being united.
Well, that is no business of yours.
If it was my business, I wouldn't talk about it. Only people like stockbrokers do that. And merely at dinner parties.
How can you sit there calmly eating muffins when we're in this horrible trouble? I can't quite make it out. You seem to me to be perfectly heartless.
Well, I can't eat muffins in an agitated manner. The butler would probably get on my cuffs. One should eat muffins bites, can't we? It's the only way to eat muffins.
I say it's perfectly heartless of you eating muffins at all, under the circumstances.
When I'm in trouble, eating is the only thing that consoles me. Besides, I'm particularly fond of muffins.
Well, that is no reason why you should eat them all in that greedy way.
I wish you had some tea cake. I don't like tea cake.
Good heavens, I suppose a man may eat his own muffins in his own garden.
But you just said it's perfectly heartless to eat muffins.
I said it was perfectly heartless of you under the circumstances. That is a very different thing.
That may be, but the muffins are the same.
Algy, I wish to goodness you would go.
You can't possibly ask me to go. I haven't had any dinner yet. I never go without my dinner. No one does, except vegetarians. Besides, I've already made arrangements for Dr. Chasuble to christen under the 4th to 6th under the name of Ernest.
My dear fellow, the sooner you give up that nonsense, the better. I made arrangements myself with Dr. Chasuble to be christened this afternoon at 5:30, and I naturally will take the name of Ernest. Gwendolen would wish it. We can't both be christened Ernest. It's absurd. Besides, I have a perfect right to be christened if I like. There is no evidence whatsoever I ever was. It's entirely different in your case. You've been christened already.
Yes, but I haven't been christened for years.
Yes, you have been christened. That's the important thing.
Jack, you're at the muffins again. I wish you wouldn't. There are only 3 left.
But I hate tea cake.
Then why on earth do you allow tea cake to be served to your guests? What ideas do you have of hospitality?
Algernon, I've already told you to go. I don't want you here. Why don't you go?
I haven't finished my tea yet, and it's still 3 muffins.